Can we have a piece of cheese for...
Here's the beginning of our supplies that we're going to get started with.
I know, you want to eat. I know.
Some herbs. We're doing very basic candle plus today. Okay, so I was thinking, the first intention, thought I was going to have is that we're going to come in here and decide on something together. But when I was running really late and I was like going through my stuff, and immediately I was like, hey, should I just pick something for us? And I was like, well, I'll give them a couple options. We can either do prosperity or love or something like that. But then the first thing I picked up was my red rose petals. And I'm like, there's so many different things that can incorporate with love that can transfer into everything else in your life. Right. So I wanted to do a candle, if it's okay for you guys. If not, we can choose something else. But a candle to bring love into your life, not necessarily love like I'm looking for a man or a woman, but love like in your home and your workspace, wherever you want to burn this candle or think of the energy it's going to. And also working on self-love, because when you love yourself, that energy is transferring out to everything else in your life.
Can I ask a question? So we're going to be making individual candles with our intent in them, or
we're going to make
a group candle?
We each get our own candle, but it's going to be from a collective pot. So we're all going to, first what we're going to do is we're going to choose the herbs we're going to use, and then we're each going to take some and put it into the morning press. So we're each going to put our energy into it by grinding through them and putting our intent into it. And then we'll add all the ingredients together, and we'll stir it all together and pour our own candles individually. Okay. That way, it still like has energy of everybody, but it still has your personal touch to it. And then when you take it home, you can add your own extra oomph to it if you want, or you can use it in a ritual, but it's still already going to have your energy in it. So if everyone's okay with that, the love thing is really what I'm feeling right now, especially right now, because the new year already started, and I see a lot of people are still already having problems, even though they've kind of thought the new year would sort of bring through things to them. So I just want to like push the goodness back into everybody's kind of issues that they're having.
So it could be even like loving the earth or loving the planet.
Just love in general. There's so many different things that I brought that can be, because when you burn your candle, before you burn it, I'm going to teach how different ways to do candle magic. So we're not just going to be doing the jar candles today. We're going to do it. I have other candles that we're going to be working with also, and then I'll teach you some things with them. But with this one, it's basically like you're going to have a core, and it's going to be filled with love, and then whatever you decide to send it out to, that's when you burn your candle on your altar or whatever, you decide where you're letting it spread out to, or what you want to draw into you, depending on how you use it. I'll teach you how to use it. But the basis is, at its core, it's going to be love. So everyone's okay with that, or we can do something else? Okay.
I have a question. I have dragon's blood and another pestle and mortar in my car.
Oh yeah, I didn't bring dragon's blood. Dragon's blood would be helpful because
it's the ones that I started breaking up.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Okay.
Do you want me to grab it now, or do you want me to wait?
Let's grab it now, so we can start this together. The one thing I wanted to add to the pot right now, if anybody wants to, I'll put it around so that everybody can put their intent into it, and Stephanie can put hers into it as well before we get back. But with the thing with the candles that I make, the herbs always, you put the herbs in and the heat and everything kind of pulls things out of it, and you usually let it just sit in the hot wax for a little while, and they'll sink to the bottom. After we stir it and everything, we'll let it sit. That way, when they go into your candle, you're not burning a candle. It's full of herbs. It's going to explode and turn to a Roman torch. So we're going to drop this in first. It's a mandrake root, so or part of one.
Oh, I love that from Harry Potter. That was great.
This one's not going to come alive and scream or anything. This one is okay. We're going to get a different one since it went to the ground. This one actually is used in different love rituals, and just used a lot in like older potions and stuff. And a potion is something you drink. I don't know if I need. Yes.
So what are the traditional, what are some of these magical associations with mandrake root?
I was about to say. Okay. But mandrake root is traditionally used as an aphrodisiac. So even though we're going to put this in there, that does not mean that it's going to be, it has to be, but I told you that this is going to be, the basis is going to be love. And so it's also used in love magic. So when we put it in there, you remember your intent, it's your intent, so it's not going to be like, unless you do want that, then you can focus on this that's in the, it's going to be in there. But we're going to put this in first, since it's a harder root, and we're not going to grind everything so it doesn't take too long. So we're each going to put a little bit of our oomph into it, we're going to put it around in a hub. You're going to be the last one, so you just drop it in the hot wax, and we'll leave it there while we do the rest of this. That way it can start permeating the, no, because we're not going to grind this, so it can start permeating the wax already. because these are going to be ground and they're going to be easier to go through the wax and everything for it to go through. So just take like a quick second and just hold in your hands and pass it to the person next to you. And then when it gets to Kurt, he'll put it in and then we'll start on this, our other project.
So I'll put it in the wax in there.
Yeah, just drop it in and
You
come
got
back.
it. You got it. Yes, ma'am.
So let me get a different one since some people believe it's taboo when if an herb that's already been dried hits the ground, the earth takes its power back into it.
What do you believe?
I don't believe that, but I know some of you might, so we're going to keep it that taboo right now. Since I dropped that, we're not going to use that one. I can use that for a different purpose, so I got a fresh one. And so, okay.
How long have you been working with herbs?
How old are you?
22. And I started going down to pagan bath when I was 12, around 12.
10 years?
So it's, yeah, and I've always been connected. I have social issues, so I was like connected to plants more than I was people. So I'm already, I grew up like playing by myself in the outside and different plants and working with them and everything. So I feel like it's always been there. But learning the magical associations later.
Do you talk
Not anymore, Kurt. No, I'm kidding. No, actually, if you sing to your plants and you talk to them, it helps them grow better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I've
Okay,
always been
so
taught that.
I'm gonna start with this first, and I'm gonna pass it to you next. In the bag, and each take a small pinch, so we're already like empowered through that way. But I'm gonna tell you what each herb is before we do it, and then you put it in the mortar and pestle. The problem is we're gonna have to. Oh, you know what? We'll put it in here because it's gonna be too many herbs in one little pot. They're not gonna grind all the way, like I know the sandalwood won't grind, but still just the act of doing that kind of puts it all together. So the first one I have. I'm going to tell you what everything is first before we go through it. Is red sandalwood. So this is for love and it's also for cleansing. And there's multiple things depending on what tradition you follow. I'm using hoodoo, urban root magic, or urban root magic. And then also Cunningham Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. There's tons of different books on the uses of magical herbs and different roots and everything. But so just depending on which. And a lot of people do it intuitively as well. So it's really what you believe and or what path you follow, depending on how you're going to use these herbs. That has oil in it, so be careful.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I brought red rose petals because traditionally.
Kill it.
At least it smells nice, huh?
Yeah,
That's good.
That's a good thing.
They're traditionally used in like love sachets. Love. When you think of love, what do you think of? You think of roses. It's romantic when you use them. When you go to like a romantic dinner, there's roses, or somebody gives you roses, it's a romantic gesture. And they're also used medicinally for a lot of different purposes. They're a really good healing plant. So I love using roses in a lot of different things.
Valentine's Day's coming up. Is that why we're doing?
Love? We're doing love because we're doing the core of love and letting it spread out to all aspects of our life.
I
It's
like
not
that.
just.
And who doesn't need more love in their life?
So all these don't have a direct association with love, but
You need more love.
they'll help connect to the idea of what we're working with. So I also brought jasmine, which I like to use for different like dream sessions and everything because it helps it helps me like open myself up for things. And then if you want to look at more of the meanings in here, there's tons more. I'm just going to go over like a couple basic things. Patchouli is used for you can use patchouli for prosperity, and it's also good for love. But the love that this kind of usually brings is more of like the finding a mate sort of love, like with the mandrake. But still, the idea of love is still there. Sage I brought for the wisdom aspect because because I think it's gonna help you with the core of this to help you make wise decisions on where you want to send this and help you kind of find the right path for where you're setting out your energies. This is just my personal perspective on these things. You can figure out whatever else you want. Peppermint, and I know these all have their own individual smells, but we're going to put a scent over it so it's not going to confuse anything. Peppermint for me is my all-around herb. I know a lot of times people say that rosemary, because they'll go by Cunningham and say that rosemary is the herb for you to use to substitute things. Peppermint is my substitute herb. There's something about it that feels like it just like kicks through everything. It doesn't just, it's not, like with rosemary it has like it's like a good smell that everyone's familiar with usually. The peppermint kicks through walls, and then it's good for cleansing, it's good for, I feel like it's good for everything when I use it. So if I need it for something, peppermint is my go-to.
Is that from my garden?
I think it is. I don't know. It might be. Awesome. So then that's peppermint from Stephanie's garden in Nebraska, right? Yeah.
My
So,
girls crushed it up.
Yay.
Good, all right, good job.
Extra love in it. And then I brought a basic incense love powder with I know there's like a lavender scent with this. And I know this is like more of an oil base than an herbal one, but still the idea is still there. So when you burn it, it's still.
What is
And
that?
it's a incense base. It's incense, but I like adding it. It has because it has the oils and everything in it that are associated with it. And also sometimes with my candles, because the tops aren't always perfect. 'Cause I'm not a professional candle maker, so the tops aren't always perfect. They have like a little bit of ridges or something when you're trying to move the wick. And so I'll put the incense powder on top because it gives it a good look. And also when it's burning, sometimes it'll sink to the top, and then you can smell it when it hits this hot wax. So it gives it an extra little oomph. I don't know. I like the oomph, extra oomph. So I'm going to, and then and dragon's blood. I forgot about this. Dragon's blood is really good for love. It was used in potions as well as the mandrake. The potions were. Do you guys know what potions are? Because I know a lot of people will come and they're like, "Do you like potions?" And they think it's like anything from oils to herbs or to incenses. But potion is something you drink, and usually it was a love potion that people would make. I think it's called a filter, or PHILRT. I think I can't spell. Okay, but dragon's blood is also really good power herb or resin. It's really good at empowering everything and making it stronger and giving it that. Just like peppermint, but there's something else about it that just like really peppermint will break open the walls, and dragon's blood will like stampede over the walls and like crush it a little bit, so there's nothing left to block you. So I'm gonna send each of these baggies around. If you guys can, we'll each do a pinch first, and after each herb, we'll. How should we do this? After each herb, but when I do incenses, I try and focus on feeling things out before I add them. But with candles, they're all going to focus on the same thing. I mean, that doesn't sound right. With candles, I just kind of put a little, try and do just an equal balance since I'm not burning it. So it's not going to, anything's really going to overpower anything else.
Are we going to put colors in our candles or no?
Yeah, we are. We're going to decide together what kind of color we want.
Red?
Well, red is a power color, so you can use that for love, but also...
Pink?
If you want to use pink or orange.
What's
Orange is a really
Should we vote?
powerful color.
Should we
Orange is
vote?
actually better for love.
I vote for orange.
Okay.
Orange?
If we have orange, we're going to use orange.
Aiden, raise your hand. What?
So what are you doing?
We're making candles.
And then we can always add more of this later, but I just want to make sure it's enough that it's not going to spill over the place. And then as we are,
I think what would be good is since you're putting the herbs in, have everybody do a grinding so that way.
No, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna pass this around after I put this in here.
Yeah, because then that way they can grind their pen.
And then we'll all put a pinch in together. Each of us will put our own pinch in into the pot. And then if any of us feel that there needs to be added more of anything, since it's a big, huge pot of wax, we could add actually all of these herbs, except for not all the patchouli if you wanted to add the full bags. But this is going to be our basis that we're going to pass this around first to start with. And then we can add more later if we need to. But this is going to be our core. So when you're thinking of this, when you're thinking of the herbs in there, think of what we're doing together. So you don't need to crush it totally since we're all going to be doing it, but just use this kind of like use your wand. This is the hand you send out energy with, and this is the hand you draw in energy with. So you can hold it and grind with this hand because this is what you're putting your intent to. And I don't think most of us are right-handed anyway. But if you are left-handed, I think it changes when you're left-handed, right? I would assume so. So use your power hand to put your intent into it, and just see it as like focusing all your energy into it, and then having it flow through you. So it's still putting it in here, but taking it in as well. So you only need to do this for like 30 seconds or whatever you feel is really right.